Now, last week I talked about the fact that things have gone from bad to worse for Ted Cruz in the polling in the state of Texas. Well, that may have been a premature statement to make, because things have gone from bad to worse and from worse to, oh my God, everything is horrible for Ted Cruz. And it happened on Friday when a new poll from Morning Consult came out showing that Ted Cruz is now officially, according to this poll, losing the Senate race in Texas. Now, that's a big, bold statement that carries a lot of weight. So let me bring it down a notch. Yes, the Morning Consult poll shows that Democratic Representative Colin Allred is in fact ahead of Ted Cruz. But there's a couple caveats I got to point out. Even though this is great news, let's temper expectations, because Allred is only ahead 1 point, 46% to 45%. And that 1% is well within the poll's 2% margin of error. However, this is a poll that is very reliable based on the way it was conducted. Thousands of people surveyed. That's good. A bigger sample size gives you more accurate results, which of course is what results in the poll's 2% margin of error, which is one of the lowest margins of errors we have seen in any poll conducted during this election cycle. I have only seen one poll, to be honest with you, with a better margin of error, and that was a 1.7% margin of error. I forget which poll it was. I know I talked about it at the time. But 2% margin of error is virtually unheard of in terms of being accurate in modern polling. That is a phenomenal margin of error. But Allred's lead still falls within that. And of course, there's a good chance maybe this poll is the outlier. I mean, it is, as I said, far more reliable than all of the other polls that have been conducted for this race. But when you take the aggregate of all of the other polls, even with their inaccuracies, Cruz has a 6-point lead according to a Cook Political Report. Now, I don't want you to get dejected either. I don't want you to have too much optimism, but I also don't want you to feel like, well, that's already lost. The aggregate says 6 points. No. Because those polls that showed Ted Cruz with a crushing lead are over a month old at this point. But because they haven't conducted new polls, they're still counted towards that average, which gives Ted Cruz the 6-point lead. So I'm explaining all of this to you, and I hope your eyes aren't glazing over and you're getting lost and clicking off of here. Polling is something that I know dearly. Again, I studied it with my political science degree. I understand it. I get it. And I'm trying to relay that knowledge to everybody so that we can look at these polls with more clearer eyes, if that makes any sense. And hopefully it does. The point is, Ted Cruz is in trouble. And if Ted Cruz is in trouble in his Senate race, then that means that the Republican dream of retaking the Senate in this year's election is in trouble. Republicans already know they're picking up at least one Democratic-held seat, and that is the seat that Joe Manchin currently has in West Virginia. He is getting crushed by his Republican opponent. He is going to lose, which drops us down to 50-50. So if Democrats lose one other seat, bye-bye majority. But if they can not only hold all their seats, but maybe pick up this Ted Cruz seat, suddenly Democrats, by a slim margin, back in the majority. So that's why this is so important. This particular race could be the race to watch on November 5th. If these polls hold steady, it'll still be close. But it could happen. Because let's not forget that last time Ted Cruz ran against Beto O'Rourke, Ted Cruz won, but he only won by 214,000 votes out of, how many was it? 23 million, I think? Or 8.3 million, excuse me. Way off. But that's a small margin. And that was 6 years ago. Ted Cruz has not gotten more popular in the last 6 years. Of course, he has repeatedly failed the state of Texas for the last 6 years. So there is a chance that those, images of Ted Cruz fleeing to Cancun during the big Texas freeze, that could play on people's minds. That could influence their votes. Texas, even though the political reports say it's still likely Republican, I do believe it's likely Republican, but it could end up being a toss-up. So people in Texas, do not sit this one out. You have a chance to rid us of Ted Cruz. This is on you. It's a big heavy weight, okay? It's a big responsibility, but voters in Texas, you're almost there. Please push Colin Allred over that finish line. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.